Okay, friends, I'm gonna show you how I make egg rolls today. Okay, I got this recipe from a lady on TikTok that's making authentic food, and I made it once already. It turned out so good, so I wanted to share it. But I have my chicken cut up into really small pieces because in the egg roll, you don't want too large of pieces. You need a super sharp knife, and I use my Pampered Chef knives, and they worked wonderful if you have a super sharp knife of whatever kind. And then I have some shredded carrots that I just shredded up from whole carrots with my cheese grater. Let me grab that and show you what I did here. Excuse me, dog. I used this part of the grater to grate those. And then I chopped up some cabbage. Now, you can cut them up into slices, but I prefer them cut up in really small because I'm not a huge cabbage lover in the egg rolls themselves, and they cook down so much, so you need quite a bit more cabbage. And then I have some onions cut up into little pieces also. Okay, and also I am using what they call glass noodles sometimes, but they're cellophane noodles. The last time I made it, I used rice noodles and they tasted just fine, but this time I wanted to try with the cellophane noodles. I picked this up at, I think I got this at Hy-Vee. No, I got this at Festival. So you can get them, most grocery stores are called cellophane noodles. If you watch a recipe, sometimes they call glass noodles. But basically you boil some water, you put them in there, you cover it, take it off the heat, let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, and then they turn out like this. So this is what they look like. Glass noodles, cellophane noodles. You can use rice noodles. And they're really spongy, but they're really good in the egg rolls. So I'm gonna cut them up a little bit before I assemble the egg rolls, just because they're so long that I need to cut them up a little bit, but we'll get to that. Okay, for the oil in my wok, I am using stir fry oil I got at the grocery store, and I'm going to add in some garlic. Now, I learned that if you put it in your oil before you turn the heat on, your garlic won't burn. Something that I need to invest in that I don't have is like a metal spoon. I just have these coated spoons, but the oil gets kind of hot. So far they haven't melted, but that is one thing that I need to invest in yet. But we got the oil heating up and getting ready to cook. Okay, you can kind of hear it starting to cook like that. And you want to stir, stir, stir. Get the pan nice and coated with some oil. It's kind of hard to film and stir at the same time. So this is what it sounds like and looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and add in the chicken. Chicken's in the pot. So it's key to keep it moving around while you're cooking it and just breaking it up. So stir, stir, stir until your chicken's cooked. And here you can see like just how small the pieces are that I have cut. If you feel like you have a few chunks in there that are too big, you can always chop them after the chicken's cooked. I missed videoing this step, but right now is when you want to add in the onions and just cook them just for a second before you add in the cabbage. Okay, that's looking good. Now we're gonna add our cabbage. I'm just actually probably gonna just dump quite a bit of the cabbage in there because it's gonna cook down quite a bit. So you wanna put a little extra in there and stir, stir, stir. And then we're gonna add in our carrots and stir it around. Stir, stir, stir. And it's looking pretty darn good so far. Next, we're gonna add our seasonings into the chicken mixture here. And I have a chicken powder. It's a chicken soup base mix that I got at the Weavers, I think in Augusta. So it's like a Mennonite store with bulk food. I imagine you can get any kind of chicken soup base mix or chicken flavoring. And you're gonna want to take, let's see here. If I can get this in here. Whoop. A spoonful and just go around with that. And then you're gonna want to take, a spoonful of sugar around, and then we're gonna do a little bit of salt and some black pepper. Now the recipe online, she was using white pepper. I don't have any white pepper, so I'm just using black pepper. And we're gonna stir, stir, stir. Okay, next we're gonna add in the cellophane noodles or glass noodles, and I just cut them a little bit, just to give you an idea of how long they are when they come out of the package. So it's kind of hard to roll an egg roll when they're that long. So I just, a couple little cuts in there, and now we're gonna stir, stir, stir. Okay, now that this is done, I'm gonna leave this cool for a little bit before I fill the egg rolls. But at this point, you could really add soy sauce to it and make a meal out of it. I mean, this wok is pretty big, and this would make a lot of egg rolls, but today I'm actually going to attempt to roll them ahead of time and freeze them so they're just ready to go, because I've been working on this for at least an hour just to prep everything and get it ready to go. And it's a great weekend project, but like during the weekdays, it'd be nice to have some egg rolls that I could just pop in. And I just want to give a shout out to Pampered Chef for their handy dandy wok that I got for half off for hosting a party, and I absolutely love it. Just so you guys know, if you need a wok, host a party, get it half off. It works so good, and it's like non-stick. 2 thumbs up, but I can't use my other thumb, so. I spread the mixture out on a cookie sheet to cool, and we're just going to give that a few minutes to cool down, and then we're going to fill our egg roll wrappers. I got 2 different kinds because I was at 2 different stores, but they should both work equally fine. And I want to give a shout out to our sponsor today, Woods and Water Realty agent, Sarah Stark. That's me. Call her to list your home, to buy a home, the cabin, relocate. She's your girl. Okay, so we have our egg roll wrappers. We have our mixture here. I have a little bit of egg wash that I made with 1 egg and a tablespoon of water. I'm just going to brush lightly the edge of the egg roll. And then we're going to get a little scoop of our mixture here. Put that on there. You might have to make a couple before you can get the ratio of how much to fill it with down. And then we're just going to wrap the sides in like so. And just keep folding it in so they get sealed very nicely. And there you have it. An egg roll. Boom. Okay, and make sure you have space to prep, because as you can see, making the actual egg rolls is a little bit messy. Okay, these ones are wrapped and ready for the freezer, but we're gonna make a couple fresh ones. Okay, our egg rolls are wrapped in the freezer, but I left a couple out to fry up fresh to show you if you want to just make them and cook them. I used 2 different kinds of egg roll wrappers. Honestly, this one wraps better, and these are the ones I usually get at the grocery store, but I thought I would try those. I think I got these ones at Family Fair, and these ones I've gotten everywhere else. So these ones worked best, but the other ones worked okay. They just were a little bit harder to roll. Anyways, I'm gonna get my oil cooking, and then we're going to fry up an egg roll. And I'm just using regular vegetable oil to fry in. Mine might look a little bit darker than if you were using fresh oil, because I recycled the oil the last time I made them. So the oil is just a smidge darker right now. Another way I tell if my oil's ready is I just drop a couple drips of water in there with my hands, and when it starts to pop, you'll know the oil's hot enough. Hey, trying to make a video, Daisy. Can you just keep it down? So when the oil starts popping like that from the water, it's just about time to put the egg rolls in. I'm gonna turn the heat down a little bit so it heats up a little bit more gradually. And then the first one's gonna be our test run to see how hot the oil is and if we need to heat it up or turn it down. First one in. Oil's not quite hot enough. It should get a little bit more bubbly like that when you first put it in, but that's okay. Okay, we're gonna flip this over, cook the other side. It's looking pretty darn good. I think the oil's finally right where it's supposed to be. Okay, optimal color has been reached. I'm sorry about the squeaking in the background. We're gonna let that drain right there and cook the rest of these. Looking good. imagine if you were going to cook these from frozen, which I'm going to attempt, not today, but when I have it done, that the oil shouldn't be too hot because you want the insides to heat up, you know, if they're going to be frozen before the outside's cooked. So that I'm going to have to play around with temperature-wise. Okay, all the egg rolls that I made, I ended up making 22 with that batch. Would you just look at that? Bon appetit. So good.